Hello, my name is Nicole, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message, The Delilah Spirit. So many like to talk about the Jezebel spirit, but today I'm zeroing in on Delilah. Thank you, Lord Jesus, because number one, I know that the Lord knows things about some of my listeners that I don't. And also, I have 4 sons. And if they live long enough on this planet, they will come across a Delilah type of woman, a woman who carries that spirit. So we are in Judges. I'm going to give you a brief breakdown of Delilah, since I know some of you all have already read the story, even from childhood, about Samson and Delilah. Delilah, her strengths and accomplishments was that she was persistent when faced with obstacles. But her weaknesses and mistakes was that she valued money more than relationships, and she betrayed the man who trusted her. And so we learn from the story that we need to be mindful, be careful of the people that we trust, the people who we deem as trustworthy. Okay. It's not always about the people out there, right? The stranger on the street, the person that you pass when you're driving your car, or the one that you encounter at your workplace. But sometimes the enemy is that one that you live with. That enemy could be the one that you spend a lot of time talking on the phone to. The enemy could be the one that's texting you, or the one that's always liking or commenting on your Facebook posts. Okay. So when God is showing us something deep, something dark, something disturbing, something troubling, something that's hindering our growth in Him, we need to take heed. There are women as well as men who carry the spirit of Delilah. They have, some of them, a dangerous beauty about themselves. It is the type of beauty that lures just about anyone in, even people who wouldn't even stand a chance with someone that looks like that individual, but yet they'll try anyway. So a person that has the spirit of Delilah, they have to be on point in the way that they look, in the way that they speak, in the types of accomplishments that they have achieved. They have to be very charming. They have to be pretty much everything that most of us would be attracted to. Okay. The enemy is going to use his best to manipulate, to deceive, to persuade, to charm. Years ago, some of you men were charmed into relationships that last a lifetime with the spirit of Delilah. That wife may be gone now, or that mistress may be gone now. Some men have had the wife and the mistress for many, many years, and either one or both had a spirit of Delilah. Okay. I think some men as well as women who study the scriptures and who are calling out demons in deliverance ministries and so forth get the Delilah and the Jezebel spirit confused. We know that Jezebel, she was out for blood, bottom line. She wanted her husband to have certain things, and so she was willing to kill for getting her needs met as well as her husband's. She was wicked, and she served other gods, and she did just deceitful types of things. And then, of course, her end was a vicious death. Delilah, though, this is a woman that isn't out for blood. She's out for money. Some of you all in the world have called her the gold digger. Some of you others have called her crazy, because when she doesn't get what she wants, she goes off the deep end. I wrote a book called She's Crazy. I never reference the Delilah spirit, but I do get into the various character traits of the crazy woman. And I also challenge some folk who read that book to determine whether or not the person who they're with really is indeed loco. or crazy. Going over to Judges 16, we read, one day Samson went to Gaza, where he saw a prostitute. He went in to spend the night with her. The people of Gaza were told, Samson is here. So they surrounded the place and lay in wait for him all night at the city gate. Now let's stop right there. You know immediately that Samson did something wrong. A gifted, talented, very strong individual. God has blessed him with so many things. Okay, this wasn't an ugly man either. And he wants to sleep with a prostitute. Okay, that's your first mistake. Some folks, they know that they have fallen by the wayside by sleeping with anyone and everyone. And so this is why sooner or later Jezebel and Delilah and all sorts of other spirits show up and show out in your life. No self-control. Let us continue to read. They made no move during the night, saying, at dawn we'll kill him. So they weren't waiting on Samson to give him some love, right? But they were waiting to kill him. And why? Because he had the Lord's strength upon him. Okay. This wasn't just any man. This was a man, once again, that God had gifted. But the problem with Samson, his weakness was that he was proud and he boasted about his strength. And some men, they are proud and they boast about all of what they got, you see. And so they become easy targets for the Delilah and for the Jezebel spirits. And of course, these women, when they show up in the flesh, well, the men, they're done. The weakness shows up in them and they're slayed. Verse 3 of Judges 16. But Samson lay there only until the middle of the night. Okay, so there's some men waiting outside the door to kill him. Then he got up and took hold of the doors of the city gate, together with the two posts, and tore them loose, bar and all. He lifted them to his shoulders and carried them to the top of the hill that faces Hebron. Sometime later, he fell in love. This is verse 4. He fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Okay, now we don't have detail as to how he got to know her. All we know is that he fell in love with this woman. And chances are that she was very, very nice looking. Okay. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, this is where the betrayal comes in. See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength and how we can overpower him so we may tie him up and subdue him. Each one of us will give you 1,100 shekels of silver. So, verse 6, so Delilah said to Samson, tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued. Now, I've talked about this story in some older audio. And basically, to summarize it, she keeps nagging him until eventually he just goes and tells her what the secret is. Okay. And it's unfortunate when a person who's close to you betrays you. And then on top of that, you know, they're hungry for money. They're hungry for opportunity. You see, a lot of times when people approach us, whether on the internet or off the internet, they may know something about us. We may have given them enough information where they say, okay, I want to help this person, but are they really helping? A lot of times there are those individuals who are looking to bring people down. They're looking to capitalize off of what they already have. They're looking to use them for any number of reasons. There's always some type of selfish motive with some worldly, ungodly type of individuals. And so we see this with the rulers of the Philistines. I mean, why should they be concerned about where he gets his strength, right? Well, some of them most likely wanted what Samson had. Some of you, there's someone or there's a group that wants something that you have. Okay. I'm talking about those who have something, right? Something that you're guarded about, something that you tend to control, something that you got guards around. As some of you all, you just have a whole lot And so when you have a whole lot, there are those individuals who want sooner or later what you got. And they don't mind using the people, the places, and the things closest to you to get their needs met. So such was the case with Delilah. Okay. She was used. She was a tool. Some people, when they realize that that's all they are, is nothing more than a tool, a token, whatever, it hurts them because they thought they were going to be more. They thought they were going to get the opportunity, because sometimes people renege on what they say. Instead of getting all of what was promised, they only get a little bit. Okay. Or there's some fine print involved that they didn't know about. So a lot of things happen in our modern day life that if we are not walking closely with the Lord, we can easily fall into the trap. Samson, he fell into the trap because simply, one, he was boastful, right? Proud and foolish at times. There are sections of the Bible where he was hot-tempered. And when he became hot-tempered, he used his strength for evil rather than for good. So Samson, he's deceived. He's deceived because he wanted to believe Delilah's lies. Some men, some women in relationships, they are easily tricked into doing any number of things because they have this belief in someone that they shouldn't have. They have given their trust over to someone that they shouldn't. Okay. Samson, this is a man who had the kind of strength where not only did he blow open the city gate doors with his strength, but he strangled a lion. But I mean, these are admirable qualities that I'm sure many men would love to have, that kind of strength. But then with all of us, right, we got some things that is very strong, very good, very righteous. But then there are those things that we're weak to. You can control one area of your life, but you can't seem to control another area of your life. You can be very good about making decisions at work, but you're not very good about making quality decisions in your personal life. Samson, here he is, able to strangle a lion, but yet, according to my study Bible, he could not smother his burning lust and see Delilah for who she really was. Maybe he couldn't see in the beginning. Okay, we get that. But as you get to know someone, you could clearly see that something is up. Something's not quite right with this person. You got lured in. You got tricked. You were deceived. You were in a vulnerable state of mind when you met him. It happens. And we turn those mistakes over to the one true God. We turn what lured us into a relationship that was ungodly. We turn it over to the Lord and we ask the Lord to give us the wisdom, the discernment to not make stupid decisions again. The study Bible questions, how can you keep your desire for love and sexual pleasure from deceiving you? Number one, you must decide what kind of person you will love before passion takes over. You see, who is that person really? I'm going to spend some quality time with this person in settings where there is no candlelight, where there is no 5-star restaurant. I want to see what she's really made of, what he is really made of. Determine whether a person's character and faith in God are as desirable as his or her physical appearance. Is she or is he really sold out for God? Let me look beyond that beautiful skin tone. Let me look beyond those eyes and the lips and the body. And let me see, is this person really sold out for the Lord? Because I need somebody that's next to me that is sincere, that is focused, that can hear from the Lord, that will take up some time like I do, you see. If you are that believer, that's how you have to think. A single believer, that is. Or one who is a widow or widower. You don't want to be that person who ends up being connected to someone who doesn't believe like you believe, is going to have an attitude about going to a church service, that one that's going to roll their eyes about all things dealing with the Lord. You want that person? You want to battle with that person? Because that's what those relationships are usually made up of. There's the spouse who believes wholeheartedly while the other one is half-hearted in his or her belief. They become an anchor that weighs you down. And the ball and chain sort of a concept, analogy, statement that people use when it comes to marriage. That's what it is when you are with somebody who you're incompatible with. It's nothing more than a ball and a chain. Point 2, because most of the time you spend with your spouse will not involve sex, your companion's personality, temperament, and commitment to solve problems must be as gratifying, listen to this, as his or her kisses. And point 3, be patient. The second look often reveals what is beneath the pleasant appearance and attentive touch. As one person said, I see you for who you really are, you see. And therefore, because I see who you really are, I'm not going to spend too much more time with you. What do you mean by that? Just what I said. Okay? I've come across some very wise individuals in my life, and rather than choose to spend the remaining years with yet another person who they knew was not going to be their mate, their chosen mate by the one true God, they chose to be alone. And for some of you all, it's better to be alone than to be with someone who you have no patience, no time, no energy for. Someone who's carrying that spirit of Delilah, which is deceptive, which is disloyal, which is argumentative, which might be very beautiful on the outside, but very ugly on the inside. It's time to let go and let God. So Delilah kept asking Samson for the secret of his strength until he finally grew tired of hearing her nagging and gave in. This was the second time that Samson allowed himself to be worn down by persistent nagging, as you see in Judges 14:17. What a pitiful excuse for disobedience. Well, I gave in to her persistent nagging. I went on and did something that I shouldn't have done because I just didn't want to hear her mouth. That's not a good excuse to go off and do what God specifically told you not to do. So some people have to make wrongs right by breaking up. Some people have to make wrongs right by living in two separate homes. Some people have to make wrongs right by disconnecting a business, by taking back an opportunity. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry, God, for giving in to this person's persistence. They wanted so much to have sex with me, and I didn't say no. They wanted so bad to marry me, and I didn't say no. They wanted so bad for me to sign off or sign to this thing and that thing. And I went on because I just wanted her to shut up. Or I just wanted him to just be satisfied and not go off and be with someone else. Poor excuses for giving in to sin. Don't allow anyone, according to the Study Bible, no matter how attractive or persuasive, to talk you into doing wrong. Just so you know, I read out of the Life Application Study Bible by Tyndale. These people who carry the Delilah spirits or spirit is or are deceitful people. They're very smooth in how they talk, very convincing, but they have a lot of evil in their heart, and it shows up as you get to know them. That's why you got to spend a lot of time away from the bedroom with these people. But they're going to lure you into the bedroom because they know that it's going to blind you. The demonic puts them up to doing this. It's going to blind you in terms of their motives, you see. So they're going to be quick about sleeping with you, quick about wanting to marry you, quick about meeting your family members and friends, quick about building up something with you, quick about even getting pregnant. I said that men can carry a spirit like this because they've gotten it from sleeping with others, or they got it from watching their conniving mothers. And so they too are very quick about being in a relationship, quick about sex, quick about getting married, quick about just any number of things so that they can be able to ultimately control the finances, drive in the car, get their selfish needs met like a home. Cold and calculating is something that you want to pay attention to. Has this person been cold and calculating with other people? If they have, sooner or later they're going to be cold and calculating with you. Delilah was that way with Samson. Very cold, very calculating. She pretended. A lot of these people, they pretend to love you when they just like you a whole lot. Okay? Or they have a lot of lust feelings and they equate those lust feelings with love. But a lot of them, they can't love because they're cold. But they know how to put on a great act. The psychopath tends to carry that Delilah spirit. I'm hearing that in the spirit, in the Holy Spirit right now. The psychopath, the narcissist, tends to carry the Delilah spirit as well as the Jezebel spirit. Okay? They pretend to love you in order to get personal gain. Okay? And you fall into the trap because you want pretty much the same thing. If you are carnally minded, you want the same thing. If you have backslid in your faith, you want to do the types of things with this individual that look okay, look harmless. We're working toward a common goal, but at the end of the day, one wants more than the other. One is using the other. One is abusing the other. It hurts. I've seen this with my own eyes. It hurts. And you can try to talk until you're blue in the face to the friend about not jumping into another relationship, and he or she is going to go ahead and do it anyway. Because they are enamored with people who look good, who make them feel good, and who are willing to sleep with them very fast in the hood. 4 times Delilah took advantage of Samson. If he didn't realize what was happening after the first or second experience, right? Some of us parents, surely my child is going to pick up on the fact that he's being played or she's being played like a fiddle. The first girlfriend took him. The second wife took advantage of him. Here he is on the third, and he still hasn't learned. Surely he should have understood the situation. This is Samson. By the 4th time, we think Samson is foolish. But then I like how the study Bible turns it back on us. And a lot of my messages do the same thing. Just to keep you humble, right? But how many times do we allow ourselves to be deceived by flattery and give in to temptation and wrong beliefs? The woman on the street, the woman who he works with, the very debonair gentleman who shows up at her workplace, the cunning individual in the family, deceived by flattery, giving in to temptation and wrong beliefs. Next thing you know, you are putting your relationship with the Lord on a shelf, and you are betting the demonic. The Bible warns us, the study Bible warns us, avoid falling prey to deceit by asking God to help you distinguish between deception and truth. And this is what we do on this channel. We bring awareness to the people, places, and things in our lives that deceive us, and then we hit you with the truth. Delilah Spirit is among us. Pray that spirit away. Cast that demonic spirit out in Jesus' mighty name. You who are called to do that, and do not be charmed by Delilah. Thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. We do have a tip jar, if you will, that is in the description box. Check out ways that you can give. Also, we have books available for those individuals who want to study a little bit more about the people that show up in your mind as you're listening to these audio messages. And to God be the glory. Blessings to you.